When we were first invited to this, we were asked to talk about, as all the speakers here today, bold moves and ways that we've disrupted our industry. I laughed because that's the last thing the Port of Baltimore needs after the Key Bridge, a longshoreman strike last fall, and now tariffs. Frankly, right now, we're all about zen and calm. It's certainly been a very challenging year for us, but we're excited about what's on the horizon. First, I'm happy to give you an update right now on the tariffs. We're continuing to closely monitor the tariff actions, and we are seeing impacts. Some of our auto manufacturing customers are shipping into U.S. ports, such as Baltimore, but are holding their vehicles at the port of entry, while some are adding import fees and others are just absorbing the tariffs. Last year, our port finished second among all U.S. ports in handling cars and light trucks, and approximately 85% of the vehicles handled here were imported. We expect to also see impacts with our container business, especially from China, but those impacts will likely not be felt until into June. Ultimately, the impact of tariffs on the Port of Baltimore and all ports will depend on the length of time that tariffs are implemented, in addition to the decisions of shippers to send their products to the U.S. Now let me bring you up to speed on where things stand for us post-bridge. First, we are still in recovery mode. That said, we've had some notable accomplishments this year. Working with our great partners at Ports America Chesapeake, we've increased our weekly container services from 12 to 16. We also set new monthly records in April for container lifts and vessels. Through the first 3 months of 2025, our cars and light trucks were up 40% over the same period in 2024, which is before the Key Bridge incident. Again, we expect tariff impacts, but we've got a good cushion leading into it. Our cruises are back again and sailing at full capacity. Last fall, we announced a new 5-year contract with Carnival Cruise Line to continue serving this market year-round. In March, Carnival announced that they would look to bring a larger ship to Baltimore in 2027 to replace their current Baltimore ship. The new ship would hold about 1,000 more passengers than our current Carnival vessel, a great sign of the industry's confidence in our cruise market. We also have our other year-round cruise partner, Royal Caribbean. Right now, we're in discussions with them on continuing that relationship as well. This has proven to be a very strong cruise market. It's one of the largest markets in the country, and the location of our cruise terminal makes it very easy to attract passengers from neighboring states. Despite all the significant challenges, last year was actually our second best year ever for cargo tonnage. We handled more than 46 million tons of cargo, which was worth about $62 billion. If not for the elision and the Key Bridge collapse, we very likely would have surpassed our record of 52 million tons set in 2023. We again finished number 1 among all U.S. ports for handling farm and construction machinery. Baltimore is the closest East Coast port, as was mentioned earlier, to our Midwest manufacturers and customers. We handled 750,000 cars and light trucks last year, which was second overall among all of the nation's ports. However, that broke a streak of 13 consecutive years leading the nation. Again, that's something that we feel strongly about. We would have finished first if not for the bridge. We finished second for imported salt, exported coal, and imported sugar. Thank you very much, Domino. Overall, Baltimore finished 10th for the dollar value of cargo and 11th for cargo tonnage among all U.S. ports. Now, talking about bold moves, we've got some exciting projects moving forward, including the CSX Howard Street Tunnel project, which will allow us to handle trains that are double-stacked with containers. It'll increase our business by 160,000 containers annually and create 13,000 jobs. We opened a temporary double-stack route in October until the tunnel is finished. CSX has closed the tunnel to expedite the project in time for a 2026 completion. Throughout these challenging last 14 months, the advantages that made the Port of Baltimore one of the busiest and most efficient ports in the nation haven't changed. First, we have a highly productive supply chain That includes terminal operators, truckers, rail, and distribution centers. We are a top 5 national consumer market with more than 70% of our inbound containers destined within 70 miles of our port. And we have a very skilled and experienced labor force. We are an excellent e-commerce port with many distribution, warehousing, and fulfillment facilities located in our region. Looking ahead, we've started to develop a new 20-year strategic plan designed to grow business and generate additional jobs. It's looking at what's made us successful in the past and what we need to adjust and change to remain successful in the future. The Port of Baltimore creates about 20,000 direct jobs, about 8,000 of which belong to city residents, while about 273,000 jobs in Maryland are linked to the port. So we understand and embrace the responsibility of being one of Maryland's top economic engines, and we look forward to growing that for the next generation. Now, while all this is very important and at the core of what we do, we are equally proud of what we're doing in our dredging and sustainability programs. Our approach to sustainability aligns with Governor Moore's vision to address climate change while working to build a new green economy in Maryland. Many people don't realize this, but the Maryland Port Administration is the largest creator of wetlands in the state by reusing dredged sediment from our shipping channels to rebuild long-eroded Maryland islands. We've restored about 970 acres of wetland and wildlife habitat through our internationally renowned dredging program. And we have plans to create, restore, or improve an additional 4,300 acres by 2072. I'm not going to be here then, but hopefully I'll be looking down and smiling. We're also moving forward with a $147 million federal EPA grant that will allow us and our partners to purchase over 200 pieces of new zero-emission vehicles, equipment, and charging infrastructure. And Gloria talked a little bit about that before. This will help to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 35% from 2020. Finally, I want to briefly touch on our community investment. The Maryland Port Administration has a strong and robust outreach program that fosters community engagement, education, recreational access, and workforce development. Earlier this month, we worked with the Baltimore Port Alliance to host a hiring and career expo that attracted more than 300 job seekers and 40 maritime, logistics, and transportation employers. Our overall programs prioritize environmental justice and diverse representation, reflecting the communities that we serve. For us, it's much more than ships, cranes, and cargo. It's also about investing in people.